Hey YouTube, welcome to Sunken's Lab. Today I have an OU battle on Pokemon Showdown. Now I don't really have anything to say before the battle. Just to let you know though, this battle was really close. It was down to the wire. I'm not going to say who won because it was so close and it is absolutely intense. So anyway, looking at my opponent's team, he has that Deoxys defense, and I know for a fact he's going to want to lead with it because his team is basically hyper offensive with possibly a specially defensive Rotom. Obviously I don't know the Rotom set just yet, but for the most part, his team seems very specially defensive with a Volt-Turn core, so I want to get that Deoxys defense out of the way as soon as possible. I don't want it getting up hazards, so I'm going to actually lead with my Life Orbed Chandelure. I believe it's Life Orb Modest Chandelure, to try and get that thing out of the way as soon as possible, go for a Shadow Ball, and just try to knock that thing out if possible. So yeah, let's just get into the battle. I lead off with my Chandelure. He does lead off with his Deoxys defense. He goes for the rocks. He's faster than me, obviously, because he probably runs max speed. I go for the Shadow Ball. Life Orb Modest Shadow Ball does not KO. And it had quite a bit of health left. But anyway, he goes for another layer of spikes because, once again, he's faster than me. And I predict to switch out into a Scizor, hopefully trying to save that thing for later. But he ends up just staying in, dying to the Fire Blast, and, that's that. So he brings in his Alakazam, and I'm forced to switch out because I know a Shadow Ball is coming, and even if he goes for something else, I'm probably not going to live anyway. So I go into my Jirachi to take any hit from this thing, and in return I can probably set up my Stealth Rocks nice and easy. So I end up setting my Stealth Rocks. He goes into a Scizor. I know for a fact he's going to go for the U-turn, but I really have nothing on my team that wants to take it, and it would also be slightly helpful to paralyze this thing for later. So I go for the U-turn, stay in, and I take a huge chunk of damage from that U-turn. But luckily he goes into his Rotom Wash, and because I am specially defensive, I know I can live any one hit, but he ends up going for the Will-O-Wisp, which tells me that he's probably specially defensive, meaning that he probably doesn't have as much special attack EVs. Excuse me, and because he doesn't have leftovers, I'm pretty much assuming that he's Resto Chesto, so, I know I can pretty much take anything from this Rotom, go for as many wishes as I want, get my health back, and, yeah, so, because of that, I'm just gonna stay in, go for a wish, go for a few body slams. He predicts me to go for the body slam, and I really didn't have any other choice. I figured that he would switch out to his Gengar eventually, but, I had no other choice, so I ended up going for the body slam. He gets a free switch into his Gengar. And then on the next turn he gets a free sub as I have to go for the wish, because I know if I don't go for the wish, I won't be able to live 2 of his hits. So I have to go for the wish, and then I can go for the Iron Head on the next turn, excuse me, proceed to get my wish back. Now, predicting him to be the sub-disable set because he is Substitute and Black Sludge rather than Substitute Life Orb or something, I go into my Staraptor predicting the disable. He does go for the disable. Now at this point, he has no option but to switch out into something to die, because he has nothing to take, I believe, what is a Choice Banded Brave Bird. I haven't used this team in a while. Well, I've used this team, but it's changed a lot. It doesn't have half the Pokemon that I had on it at this point, so it is what it is. So anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a Choice Banded Brave Bird. Nothing on his team can take that. But at this point, I basically have to leave my Staraptor here to die because nothing else in my team can really switch into this thing and take a hit. So that's why I switch into my Jirachi on the next turn, because I know that Jirachi can live any hit if it gets in safely, but if it can't get in safely, then it's not going to live a hit. So I'm basically forced at this point to go into my Jirachi, take a hit, go for a wish. But he ends up switching out into his Gengar, which is fine for me because I get a little bit of damage off with the Iron Head. I know I can live 1 Shadow Ball, and I do indeed live a Shadow Ball now. On the next turn I make a very questionable play, because at this point I could have gone for a few more Iron Heads to try to get a little more damage off, but I decided to go for the wish, and for some reason I thought that I might be able to live 2 Shadow Balls, but absolutely not. Cannot live 2, and I basically just wasted a wish, which is pretty unfortunate, because, that's like 202 hit points that just went down the drain. But luckily I am able to switch into my Jolteon, go for the T-Bolt. I'm pretty sure this was Choice Scarf Jolteon. I don't know why I was using it. I was just fucking around with it, and it actually worked out pretty well. It actually won me a few battles, but in this case, it's just going to go for a few T-Bolts. The Alakazam comes in, I get some good T-Bolt damage off, he gets some good Psychic damage off, but I am able to kill him off on the next turn as I survive the Psychic. So he's forced to go into his Scizor, go for the Bullet Punch, and at this point, we're left in the situation where the only thing that I can really go into to take this thing out is my Chandelure. So I go into my Chandelure, go for the Fire Blast as he goes for the Bullet Punch. He takes me down to 5% health, and this is pretty much perfect for me, because at this point, actually, I'm going to pause, and I know blah blah blah, everybody hates when I pause, but whatever. He is forced to go out with his Dragonite, obviously, being as it's his last Pokemon. And the thing about me going for the Fire Blast and him going for the Bullet Punch is that when he went for the Bullet Punch, he took me down to a range where my Fire Blast recoil, well, the Life Orb recoil rather, would actually kill off my Chandelure, therefore giving me a free switch into my Conkeldurr, which has Ice Punch, and therefore I was pretty confident that I could live any hit if this was a normal dragon dancing Dragonite, and proceed to go for the Ice Punch. So that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch, predicting him to either go for the Roost or maybe even the Dragon Dance, predicting me not to have the Ice Punch, but things don't actually go that way because he turns out to be a fucking Choice Banded Dragonite. So he just smacks me in the face, takes me out, and I was like, shit. I know that Gliscor cannot take too many of these hits. So I have to go into my Gliscor. I have to Toxic him because it's my only possible way of damaging him. I cannot hit him because all I have is Earthquake and Stealth Rock. No, I have Earthquake, Taunt, whatever. And anyway, he hits himself in Confusion, which allows me to get a substitute up, which basically seals the game, because at this point I can continue subbing down if I need to and end up winning. And he ends up hitting himself twice in Confusion in a row and ends up dying off to the combination of Toxic and Confusion damage. So that was an amazing game. It was really, really close, and it was basically to the point where if he had not hit himself in Confusion, he would have won, without a doubt. Saving his Dragonite till last was his best option, and he took advantage of the fact that I had nothing except for Jirachi to take an Outrage. And after my Jirachi went down, he took advantage of that and went for the Outrages. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get a 3-turn Outrage, and he ended up... Did somebody just fucking beep outside my house? Don't you know I'm commentating? Anyway. I lost my train of thought because that horn distracted me. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of this battle. It was a really close battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Honestly, if this battle was this close and I lost, I probably would have posted that anyway because it was just that close of a battle. But luckily I did end up winning. The hacks went my way, and, at the end of the day I should have lost, but I didn't, because I got lucky. So hey, it is what it is. That's what Pokemon is all about. Luck, hacks, and bullshit. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You can click the buttons on the screen to see the previous Pokemon Showdown narration or the next one when it's uploaded, or you can click on the subscribe button on your screen to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.